Hey folks, welcome back. So we've talked a lot about CloudFormation stacks, and we're going to talk about updating stacks. But what if we have a production stack that we want to protect from updates? Well, that's where stack policies come in. So we'll talk a little bit about stack policies. I'll have my favorite editor up and we'll review some stack policy syntax, and then we will create a stack and go ahead and apply a stack policy. So in the DevOps doctrine, let's go to stack policies. So stack policies are used to control which resources can be updated and by what actions. And in our diagram, we have an auto-scaling group of EC2 instances and an RDS database. So with stack policies, we can essentially give the green light for certain resources to be updated, and others, like a database, we can disallow updates to this resource in our stack. And again, if we have a production stack, improper updates can cause downtime, loss of data, or a change of physical IDs. It can really wreak a lot of havoc on our production stack. Now, by default, all update actions are allowed on all resources. So if we create a stack without an update policy, all update actions are allowed on any of those resources in the stack. Any user with permissions to perform stack updates can update all of the resources. And that's where stack policies come into play. Now, as soon as you apply a stack policy, all resources become protected by default, a default deny. So when you apply a stack policy, you have to explicitly allow updates to resources in the stack. And stack policies apply to all users who try to update the stack. So let's take a look at a policy, and I'm referring to my highlighted code, effect allow action update asterisk, principal asterisk, resource asterisk. Now, the first statement explicitly allows all update actions on all resources. And then our second statement denies update on the production database. So basically, any resource in the stack, with the exception of the production database, can be updated. A couple key points about this. Let's realize that we're completely opening the gate. We're allowing update. We're giving the green light to all resources in the stack. And yes, we are denying update on the production database, but everything else is updatable. If using this technique, it's important to not overlook denying update on any of the resources that you want to restrict. Now, for these stack policies, principal star is the only option, and it denotes all principals. Now, policies can be created at stack creation time or applied to an existing stack. And if you apply a policy to an existing stack, you have to do it from the command line interface. And a very important point, we can only have one stack policy per stack. Now, one policy can have multiple statements. Now, in our policies, we can have an effect, deny or allow, an action, update actions, which we'll get into shortly, and the principal, again, it's always going to be a star, resource, and a condition. So with a condition, we can look for string matches, string equals or string like, and apply it to a resource type. So example for string equals, we could string equals resource type AWS : RDS : DB instance. So that's a broader match than a specific resource ID. Any resource of this type we can apply our effect to. The actions, the update actions are update modify, update replace, update delete, and update star, which denotes all update actions. Now, what if we apply our stack policies, but come to find that we need to update protected resources? What can we do? Well, we can use an overriding stack policy. So this policy is temporary, only for that specific update. We specify it at update time via the console or CLI, and the overriding policy needs to have an allow statement for the resources we want to update. All right, so that's a look at stack policies, and they're pretty straightforward. But let's go ahead and create a stack and apply a stack policy to it. So we'll just use this policy and go over to the AWS Management Console. Okay, I'm going to use the WordPress server we used in the last lesson. So I'm going to click Launch Stack, and this template will be provided in the course documentation. Let's click Next. Enter DB password, DB root password, DB user, instance type, and a key pair. Leave the default for SSH location. Click Next. And this time we're actually going to do something on the options page. This is where we can apply the stack policy. So let's go into Advanced. You can set up SNS, termination protection for your instances. Stack policy. So I'm going to paste in the stack policy, and that's it. Alternatively, we could upload a policy file. Let's click Next and Create. And let's refresh, and we'll just hang around to make sure that our stack is built. But that's really it as far as applying stack policies. We could also do this from the command line interface. I will provide that command in the course materials. All right, so our stack has created successfully a WordPress site with a stack policy applied to the stack. And with that, we have completed this lesson. Go ahead and mark it complete, and let's move on to the next.